What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Clams. I'm Will. I'm here in Woodstock. Are we in Woodstock? Catskills?
Catskills.
Catskills. You haven't seen her yet, but behind the camera is Ashley. I'll show you her in a second. And we decided to come on a hike, even though it's pouring rain, but we wanted to look for mushrooms. It's fall in New York. It's like perfect timing. And we just came across this. Let me show you. A whole log full of oyster mushrooms. And then there are even more right there. And there's more on the side there. And there's another log way down that way over there. So I'm gonna take a couple of them. We're gonna take a couple, bring them home and out of the rain and try to definitely ID them. So I am not a mushroom expert. Don't take my word for these things. If you go out foraging, definitely do your due diligence in reading, asking people, and finding out to make sure. Don't take anything that you are unsure about. So these I am 99.9% sure of, but we're gonna take them and ID them at home to be 100% sure. I don't know. Ashley, what do you think? Is that, are they oyster mushrooms?
I mean, this one, you're telling me. This is so neat. Are these the gills?
Those are the gills.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Eat one.
I'll not take the risk today. Maybe tomorrow.
We'll make sure. We'll make sure. What'd you find? I don't know what those are.
And there's this here too. This yellow one.
I don't know what that is. So oyster mushrooms are pretty interesting because they grow all winter long here in New York. And you can find, oh, that's a bunch of turkey tail. False turkey tail. Look at that. False turkey tail. They grow all winter long. So if you find them in the winter, you can be sure that it is definitely an oyster mushroom. We're only in the fall right now. So that's why I am going to not only double check, but triple check and make sure. We were just kind of coming on a hike, so I didn't bring anything to carry them in, so I have them in my hat, which is good. It is really cool. It's super foggy. And I think it's like mid-afternoon. I'm not even really sure, but man, this is awesome. And there's no one here because it's raining. So we have this whole trail to ourselves, which is very nice. All right, we are on our way out of the trail. We did do it. Like I said, it was, you know, we didn't come totally expecting to find a mushroom. That was pretty lucky. When I get back to a dry place, I will explain how we're gonna identify it to make sure that it is an oyster mushroom. And we're gonna do that after a very well-deserved beer. So we'll see you soon. All right, so this is kind of cool. I haven't been showing you a bunch of the stuff that we've seen just because it was absolutely teeming rain, so I didn't want to keep taking my camera out and getting it wet. But this is pretty cool. This is called witch's butter. This little guy up here. And if you go back, oh, it's all the way up the tree. It's all up there. So cool. So witch's butter is a lot like the, I think it was the snow fungus that I found in Hawaii. And it doesn't offer much taste, So from a culinary standpoint, it's not really that exciting to eat, but what it does offer from a medicinal point is a huge amount of collagen. And that's why in the Hawaii video, I made tea out of it. Oh, now we're finding all kinds of cool stuff. Look at these guys. But yeah, there is a plethora of mushrooms, and it's funny that you don't see certain things walking one way, and then when you walk back, you get a different vantage point and kind of catch other stuff. So it's really tricky. You got to develop your mushroom eye. But we're almost out of here. All right, so the rain cleared. It's the next day, and I just want to show you, so we did positively identify these mushrooms as Phoenix oyster mushrooms. There's a possibility they could be aspen oyster mushrooms, but it's okay. They're both edible, non-harmful, and the true way to know which one you have is by doing a spore print. Spore prints, you take the mushroom and you tap them out on a different color sheet of paper, and that by the spore print, the color of the spore print will tell you exactly what you have. But the identifying factors of the oyster mushroom, one, the stem is off to one side. They are a whitish to brownish to grayish color. The stem hangs to one side, so it's off center. And then the gills are decurrent, meaning that they come up the stem. They don't cut off at the top here. And also the gills are widespread, and not all of them go all the way down to the stem. They stop short. So with a positive identification, we got a handful of really nice oyster mushrooms. We're gonna take these back to Long Island or New York City and cook them there though. So right now, to store them, I just have them wrapped in a paper towel and then put in a brown paper bag because they were out in the rain, so their shelf life is it's ticking. But that's it. Pretty cool, yeah. How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. Interrupting Cooking with Clams video to bring you a message. He told me that a lot of you have been asking how you can get your hands on the new hat. Well, they're here. They're limited edition. There's about 25 of them. They're all tan with the black writing there. That's the hat. That's the style of hat. And they are $30 post-paid. I take Venmo or PayPal, and you can email cookingwithclams@gmail.com, and you'll get all the information you need on how to get one of these. I know I'm gonna get one. All right, day late, but happy Halloween, and let's get back to the video. All right, so I got a few of the oysters here that made the journey. And really, so another thing that I want to point out is that one of the ways that you can identify mushrooms is by what they're growing on. So these were growing on a hard maple tree, and that makes all the difference in the world, because one of the lookalikes of these is angel wings, and they are poisonous, but they only grow on conifers. So it's important to be able to decipher between what tree they're growing on. Now I'm just going to cut off the stems here where they were attached, and I'm not going to wash them. I'm just going to flake that dirt off. And what we're going to make is a duxelle, and then use our duxelle as a filling to make mushroom ravioli. And something else too, just because I knew a bunch of them weren't gonna gonna make the trip. I actually, at a farmer's market, grabbed some of these maitake, or hen of the woods, so we're gonna add those to our duxelle. But usually I take a brush or just a towel and get the majority of the dirt out of there. And we're gonna chop these up nice and fine. Okay, that's about enough, not too crazy. These are gonna cook down. What a duxelle is really like a mushroom pate almost. You cook it down until you could spread it onto a cracker. Okay, we'll put this aside and then chop up our maitake. And the same thing with this. Now some garlic. Shallot. We'll do the whole thing. And a little bit of parsley when we finish it. We don't have to go too fine on that. And then I have some thyme that I pre-picked. I won't bore you with that, but you just grab a stem like that from the top and slide your fingers down, and you're left with all the leaves. You need thyme with really sturdy stems though, otherwise they pick apart. So we go. There we go. We are ready to cook. So we're gonna start on pretty low medium heat because we want to cook all of this down a little bit slowly. Want to cook all the moisture out of the mushrooms. So first, melt down this butter, and we'll start adding our ingredients. First in, our shallots, our garlic, and our oyster and hen of the woods maitake. Some black pepper, and some sea salt. And we want to cook these down just a little bit, and then we're going to add some Madeira. This is, I don't know if you can see that. This is the Madeira. You can actually add sherry or white wine, just as good. Or even sweet vermouth would be good too. So we're cooking these down nice and slow. We don't really want to brown them. We just want to get all of their water content out. So we have it going low and slow, but you can see all of the water is cooking out. And we're not getting any caramelization, which we don't want. It takes time, but it's going to be worth it. Raise the heat just a bit and add our Madeira. And we're going to cook off that Madeira completely. We're going to cook out all the moisture. Now a true duxelle would be, the mushrooms would have been ground in a food processor and it would be cooked down until there's almost no moisture whatsoever, so that it is a pate or a paste that you could spread on toast. I wanted to leave this a little bit chunky and not cook it completely down, because for our filling in our ravioli, I want you to get a bit of the mushroom texture in there. So this is just about done. Let's get started on our dough. So we're just gonna make a really simple dough. I have here 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You could use wheat flour, semolina flour, and I know a lot of doughs are made with eggs, but I'm gonna keep this, like I said, very simple. And then, so 2 cups flour, and here I have 125 milliliters of water, and we're just gonna add our water very slow and mix our flour until it's completely incorporated. You could obviously do this in a mixer. I like doing everything by hand myself. I need just a little bit more water, but what I'm gonna do is go by tablespoons, and I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of water, mix it, see if I need the next one, because it needs just a tiny bit more, not much. Okay, I ran inside, grabbed 2 tablespoons of water, mixed them in, and we're looking pretty good. So we're just gonna work this a little bit, roll it into a ball, and then let it sit out of the fridge with a towel over it for at least 20 minutes. Okay, back into the bowl, paper towel on top, or I'm sorry, a dish towel on top. So just like that, and that's gonna sit. I'm gonna give it about 30 minutes. We'll come back and re-roll. In about 20 minutes, here's our dough ball. All we're gonna do is just work it again, roll it back into a ball, and let it sit for at least half an hour. Okay, see you in a half an hour. So truth be told, I redid the dough. And the reason why I redid the dough is because I used half whole wheat flour, because I felt like that would give a better flavor. So it's the same ratios, just half whole wheat and half all purpose. And one of the things that I can tell you, the way that you want the dough, you want it to feel like an earlobe, if that makes sense. So we are going to start making our ravioli, and I don't have a pasta roller, so we are going to do this individually, one at a time, which I know there's a better way to do it, but it's okay. We're gonna do it this way. So divide into 4, cover that up again, and also the whole wheat dough is gonna have a little bit more of a bite to it, which I'm okay with. And these, you can make them ahead of time and freeze them. That's another thing too. basically all we're gonna do. Roll them out, and they don't have to be perfectly round either. That is unimportant. But we're gonna try to roll that out nice and thin so that it's not too chewy. There you go. So I'm going to show you one, and then I'm going to start moving fast because we're running out of daylight here. Alright, so we have our 2 pieces of pasta. We'll put a good amount of our oyster mushrooms there. Okay. Then you just take a fork, press them down to seal that. There you go. There's our ravioli. I'm gonna make about 10 of them. You figure maybe 5 per serving, but that's it. And like I said, you can dust these with flour and throw them into the freezer once, like lay them out flat in a sheet like this. And then once they are frozen, you can throw them into a bag. So okay, I'm gonna get moving and roll these out. Okay, now for our sauce, we're gonna make just a sage butter sauce, something really simple, and it's gonna be a brown butter. So we're just gonna melt that butter down and let it brown a bit, and then put in some sage and put that aside. When making a brown butter, you don't want to go too hot too fast because you'll burn the butter. So again, low and slow. And we'll get that sage nice and crispy. So hopefully the lighting isn't too bad and you can see how that's getting nice and golden brown in there. Oh, that looks beautiful. That looks good. All right, we're gonna put that aside and grab our water. So we have water up to a simmer. Brought it up to a boil, then a simmer. I don't want it boiling too hard because I want these to cook gently. So we'll put them in a couple at a time. And they're gonna cook about maybe 3 minutes. And yes, that water was salted. Okay, these are ready to come out. I'm gonna put them directly into our sage brown butter. Swap out these pans. And we're just giving them a coat with the brown butter. That's it. Because they are plenty hot. All right. Okay. If you guys don't know, but I think a lot of you do know, Mama Clams.
A little nippy out here.
Well, this should warm you
It's
up.
a hot meal.
This is a good fall dish. So this is from the mushrooms upstate, some oyster mushrooms that Ashley and I found. And it's a sage brown butter sauce and a whole wheat pasta. I was going to do a little bit of Parmesan on top, but I don't think it needs it. I don't think it needs any cheese at all.
No, I think the butter
Oh yeah.
is perfect.
Yeah.
The cheese would take away from the flavor of the dough and the filling.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we positively identified these as oyster mushrooms, so we're safe. You don't have to worry.
I think I'm gonna go for the real thing though, eventually.
What?
Oysters.
Oh, oyster. Okay. Well, yeah. These are oyster mushrooms. Well, I like that I switched to the whole wheat dough. Has a little more bite, a little bit nuttier flavor to it to really make this just a fall dish.
And it's firmer too. It's not doughy, which is nice. It goes very well with the mushrooms.
It has a nice bite to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. And I love the crispy sage leaves.
Nice
That's
punch.
one of my favorite things. But okay.
Very good.
We're gonna eat our dinner, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming along on this adventure. Like I said, do your due diligence. If you go out there and you want to do any mushroom foraging, take a class, get a lot of books, and make sure what you have is the correct mushroom. And by no means take anything I say as expert advice. Do your own research. But thanks for coming along, and I will see you on the next one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm pretty excited about how these came out.
Very tasty. Yeah, I don't think the whole wheat dough is definitely a plus.
All right. I'll go foraging more often.